Yeah, it's really noisy out there today. Like there's cars honking and like kids screaming. But I guess that's what you get when it's a really nice day outside. People just like to honk in really warm weather. All right. So I want to talk today about slow moves. And to do that, I'm actually going to show you a game that I played very recently in the Jin Chen Memorial Tournament in Seattle. And I actually played against another YouTube content creator, we'll say. This is Peter Nelson, otherwise known as Longstride Baduk. He's a little bit intermittent with when he creates content, but in general, when he does, it's really good. I mean, he's really a strong player, and we had a really good game. And he also plays at the Seattle Go Center, so we're good friends. So do check him out if you're looking for some other high Don level commentary. But I'll show you the game that he and I played at this tournament today. Again, the theme of the lecture is slow moves. So we're going to look for slow moves in our game. And there were a few. So in this game, I was white. Peter was black. And we started sort of with this out-of-order mirrored opening, right? I started with 4-3, and he went there, and he went there. And then he went there. And then I was just sad. I was immediately sad. Because he's starting the Kobayashi formation. And I just don't like Kobayashi. Like, I just don't. It's just not my thing. It's not my style. I don't like playing it, and I don't like playing against it. So what can you do? What can you do? So I had this brilliant idea. We'll say brilliant in parentheses. Is, I don't like playing it, and I don't like playing against it. So what if we play against it and it at the same exact time? Ha! Mirago Kobayashi style. No idea if this is a good idea or not. So anyway, I played out a few moves of Mirago here on Peter, who I think that actually like upset him a little bit. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but he seemed to be kind of just pissed a little bit that he was taking this opening that he had very clearly prepared. Like I'd actually seen him play this in a game in the same tournament in an earlier round. He played this exact same opening formation. And the fact that I was playing it too, actually, I think was like, no, that's mine. He didn't outwardly say any of this or do anything, but he just seemed like uncomfortable by the prospect of having to play against his own prepared opening, which he should know how to do, I would think. So I was probably helping him out more than not. But at this point, I break the Mirago, and he plays not a slow move. He plays a really, really fast move. And when I asked him why he played this move after the game, he's like, I don't really know. He wasn't really sure. And again, I think it had to do with the idea of like Mirago just like frustrating him. But anyway, at this point, I play my first, we'll say, actually bad move, or at least dubious. We'll give it at least the dubious credential because I thrusted here, and yeah, it's not very good. It's really not very good. I think the best thing to do. Mark Lee, the AGA 10 Don, I showed him this position. He just said, yeah, you should just play here. And just do this. Because if this happens like this, then, my Q8 stone looks good. Even though, I'm a little bit flat down here. The shape is solid and safe, and black is just floating. So this would have been a good result. Instead, I thrusted like a maniac, and Peter, instead of doing this, which seems to be like the obvious move, he also decided to be creative again and play this one. And the nice thing about this one is that if black does this, there's still this sort of variation for white, where white can sort of start this fight. If black plays this one, you can't, or it really just doesn't work. It also, maybe puts a little bit more pressure on the Q8 stone, maybe a tiny bit, but it has the disadvantage of it doesn't really do enough against the bottom. Or it doesn't do as much, let's say that. All right, so I play this move, and this move, again, just sort of links up my whole bottom position, and it keeps black floating. So if this is how this were to stand or finish, this would be very similar of a result to the one where black just leaps out and white just makes territory. It's probably not quite as good, though, because, or at least for white, because white can still be sort of split up here or attached. I mean, there's more forcing moves for black to take advantage of this gap. And meanwhile, this shape is actually a little bit more flexible for black as well. So not quite as good as it probably should have been. But this is still a good result for white to here. So black decides to treat this as thickness and try to attack this stone. So we're going to, everyone wants to settle by attacking. So I just jump out, natural move, and again keep the pressure on this. I just remind black that no, you're not thick. You have to save both of these now. And so black has to play a, it looks a little bit slow, but it's good shape actually. Basically puts some pressure on these cuts. It links up the stones. It keeps my two stones under pressure. It's a good move. But now it's time for a bad move. It's time for a slow move. I thrust again. This is very greedy. This is saying, okay, you get, virtually no more moves, down here. Of course, that's not really true because black can still sort of hane here. Or even just jump here or Nobi here. Like there's still moves that black can play that are somewhat forcing, sort of forcing. I'll say that. They're not like directly forcing unless I just want those points. But it's a very poor move in this case. And I think this is, I fell into the psychological trap that, I certainly make somewhat frequently, and I've seen certainly Q players make all the time, is you play like one shape, you do this thrust once, and you're like, well, I didn't die, so it can't be that bad, so let's do it again. And I can almost guarantee you that in your game, if you ever make the same shape again, you're probably wrong. Unless the shape resulted in your opponent dying, you probably shouldn't do the same shape twice, just as a general rule. It probably means you've not thought about the situation nearly enough. In retrospect, I also remember thinking that I thought this thrust move also put more pressure on these stones because of the cuts in here, the cuts and the pokes. But really, until white gets another move or two out here to strengthen this, you can't really take advantage of that. So that's the other reason why it's slow, is it really, even though I thought it was more active at the time, it's not. It's really just saying, I'm just going to get the bottom points. It's not putting nearly enough pressure on black. So black takes a really nice move. Actually, I'm not sure why I didn't even think black would play here. I thought black would jump out. But this move I was really sad by. And at this point, white has several options. There's this one, but I wasn't really happy with how this was going to go. But because of black, even though I take a lot of points, and maybe this is good, it sort of feels like it ends in gote and black, settles this group. And then can come back and play another big move. And look at all this giant black influence. Even though white has a lot of points, I don't know. This is not my style. I was very fearful of this sort of thing happening. I also contemplated this one. Just giving up 2 stones to basically get 1. And I'm not sure. This is probably not really Sente here. Black doesn't really need another move. But again, black, that's probably a little bit slow. But maybe even there to kind of create something big. Or actually, black is strong enough to just Tanuki. Actually, probably in this case, theirs probably better. It's because this white group has a lot of strength now, so black wants to play something that helps these 2 stones a little bit more. So I contemplated that, but I just didn't like that either. So I was creative, which usually means I did something bad. And I just played here, and then I attached to this way. And what I thought I was doing was, my number one priority was to not let this black group, get too much strength or connect to something. So I was playing all out to basically prevent a disconnection. So I really wanted to get ahead of black somehow, and this is how I decided to do it. Whereas in this variation, you can see that I actually don't really get ahead of black. Black gets ahead of me. So in the end, I don't think my variation was good. But hey, that was my idea. I was trying not to let black get too, connect or get too strong in the middle. Of course, in my variation, the first thing I do is get black stronger, in the middle by giving him that free move. And black plays this move. This is very good style. And again, I choose to just keep the disconnection, which gives black a free move against the corner. Again, I'm just trying to keep everything disconnected. Just keep myself out and everything disconnected. Black takes a move to settle. I take a move to, again, get out, keep everything disconnected. Black peeps. I take this moment to come back here, and this actually puts more pressure on this group. So make this exchange. And then here, I think I didn't play a slow move per se, but I didn't play the obvious Q move that I think I should have played. I think white should just play here. And that way black is still not alive here and really owes me a move. I didn't, just because there's this obvious like Aji that's, good for black. I make no points here. Like, this is an empty move. All it does is just force black to live. So I feel like it didn't do anything. That's why I didn't play it. So I just played here, where it still keeps the separation. Black really does need one more move still here to live. And it prevents black from getting an easy base in my corner. So, I don't know. I should probably just block and just force a direct response here, and then I could do whatever I wanted. But anyway, after this exchange, I come back to make shape here, and now, this group that has sort of been the target the whole game is still a target, right? I sort of succeeded in my goal in not letting this group connect. However, I gave up all these points. I sort of gave black an extra move over here, right? So you can sort of count that as black. And I lost all my corner points. So was it worth it? Well, time will tell. Let's keep going in this game. Black says, you know what, this group, it's alive enough. I'm going to take a big point. And actually, after the game, I asked him why he didn't play like a move over here. He said, well, I needed this stone to help this group as much as possible. Whenever he took a big move, he wanted it to have an influence. So I guess that's fair. So I said, hey, I have this sort of strong group. It's really not that strong. If you look at this thing, this is really not strong. There's still cuts and problems and defects, and it doesn't have any guaranteed eyes yet. But I still wanted to treat it as strong, so I wanted to do something against this group. So I pincer here. I thought the other reason why I would play high is this has a nice follow-up in the corner, like this. This probably should have been the normal continuation for black, this Hane here, because again, it sort of exposes these cuts. But black didn't actually play that. Black played here. And this is also reasonable, although later on I should have probably been able to get some free moves that I didn't take advantage of. So I feel like even though black played a subpar move, I also played a subpar move. And later on, I'm just telling you, there's going to be another slow move that exemplifies that. Okay, let's drink a sip of tea, and then we're going to talk about this corner. Okay, so now that I had these two stones here, I wanted the corner. I could use these two stones to sort of help me get a better result in the corner. However, black played very patiently, and now these two stones are still kind of like trash. They're still not that good. But it did let me basically settle and, force black to play a slow move. So was it worth it? Probably not. But they did sort of what I wanted them to do. They're still reducing black and, forcing black to play slow moves. But at this point, black is not playing slow moves. He's, for whatever reason, trying to play very fast. And so he's now thinking about, taking this whole left-hand side and building while attacking. I just try to seal in again. If I can connect to these two stones, this black group is not entirely safe, so black makes sure that I can't. And then here, black played actually two surprising moves in a row. I didn't think he would actually play this because, again, it doesn't really do a lot. There's still cuts for black. These two stones still have Aji. But then, after I Hane, he cuts again. And so Peter, I don't know, took crazy pills here for a while. He just decided, I don't know, maybe it was just like the fact that I came into his territory after playing Mirror Go against him. And made this pretty strong living group, in his territory, and so he just wanted to get the most out of it as possible. I don't know what it was. But this feels pretty overplay. And I immediately just poke here to expose the defects, because if black just blocks, I just eat this, and I'm out. I capture some stones, and black still has all the same problems. So black has to play this exchange, and this is okay. And he could even, in theory, if my two stones weren't here, all right, he could come back and play this. But because I have a stone here, he really doesn't want to do that, right? Because if he does this, I do this, and again, that doesn't work, right? I just get out. So he doesn't like any of these results, so whoops, not that one. So he has to continue pushing out. Now, what he's effectively doing is he's leaning on my group in order to eat my two stones. And I think I'm okay with this, right? I think this is not the right direction, right? This is very small thinking. He basically already had all these points anyway. So at the most we're talking about, I guess we are guaranteeing safety for the corner group, so that's worth something as well. But these 2 stones, maybe they're worth, we'll say 10 to 15 points at the absolute most, which is a lot of points, but is it worth losing control of the middle and getting your shape broken on the left-hand side while you still have a weak group on the board? That I'm a little bit more hard-pressed to say. So I, again, expose the weaknesses here with this Hane. And I'm perfectly happy. If black wants to Atari this, I'm super happy, right? This just helps me kill these 3 stones and control the middle once again. So super duper happy. So black doesn't want to do that either. So again, black just sort of completes the capturing of these 2 stones. Oh, T-burp. So if he's going to play a slow move like that, I get to break into the left-hand side. This move surprised me. This move wasn't even close to being on my radar. I thought he would, take one of these Ataris for sure. Or actually, I really thought he would just respond to this move. So none of that, which he did. But his idea, which I think is actually a pretty good idea, is that I have a group that's actually not that strong. It has a lot of stones in it, but it's not that strong. So why not, poke at this thing while attacking this thing? Seems like a pretty good idea. At this point, I'm thinking I'm strong enough. I'm fine. There's plenty of space to live down here. There's still some Aji up here for me to use. So I'm sort of pig-headed about it. I take this one free forcing move first, and then I just connect at the peep. But of course, he insists, he says, okay, now you've made that heavier. So let's lean on this to then come back and attack this. And I think at this point I play a bad move. I think the move I should play is here. And again, this more or less keeps my shape intact and forces him to play again. But I actually had a misread. I felt like after this move, I thought this move was too good for him. But I didn't realize that I can actually just play here after this, and white can't get a really good result. Or sorry, black can't get a really good result. There's just not quite enough strength in these stones to fight yet. So I didn't play that. I took a forcing move. Again, just making sure I have to respond here. So it should be good timing to take a move like this. And then I played this move. And I think this move, locally is really good. It of course does completely give up the corner. At this point I said, I have any points in the corner anyway, so this is just dame. So I'm not giving up white points, I'm only giving up black points. So I didn't feel so bad about this. And meanwhile, while black is trying to cut through here, he is helping me a little bit with shape. Get the free Atari. And now here's the point where I play a slow move, because that's the theme of the day. Slow moves. And you can understand my reasoning, as I still have a little bit of a shape issue here. This is not an eye if this lives, but if I kill this one, I have 2 eyes immediately. And so even though I lost this huge number of points in the corner, right up here, all these are dead, seemed like it would be prudent to just play this and just live. And the other reason why I was not excited to play this, but I thought this was acceptable, is because it would give me follow-up moves here. And I could actually lean on this later. Possibly, given, if a Liberty shortage down here or anywhere else, I might even be able to play a double Hane later and threaten something. You can sort of, it doesn't quite work yet, I don't think, but yeah, definitely not. But yeah, there's not that many liberties for black. I know as soon as black captures this, he's fine, but if I can find a way just to get 1 extra liberty or 1 extra tempo move, you can see how this would create some problems for black, or has the potential later on. But it really doesn't. It's just a reduction, right? At the very, best case scenario as it is right now, as it stands, there's only this reduction, which isn't that big. So this move was slow. What I should have played was this one. And this almost accomplishes the exact same goal of giving me 2 eyes, but it also accomplishes the much, much more important goal of, again, helping quash these 3 stones, as well as, and most importantly, keeping up the pressure on this group, right? This whole game is about this group. How do I deal with this group? How do I lean on other parts of the board to attack this group? How do I get compensation from this group? And the short answer is that, well, a move like this would have made that very clear. Like, that's what I'm doing. So I played here. Whoops. Oh, this looks like the game record. There we go. Black makes this exchange first, and at this point I thought I had a really good response to this. I almost immediately dismissed this move, because if Black's going to force me to take this, and then just comes back, even though, you know, I profit and everything is solid now, everything of mine was already alive because I already played M15, so this isn't that many points. And meanwhile, Black would basically, or even just, I guess this is probably better, have completely solved his middle group issue. So I thought this was completely unacceptable. After the game, he was wondering why I didn't play this. He thought I would play this for sure. And I showed him, he's like, oh yeah, I guess that's a good idea. So I played here instead. The problem with this, of course, is that Black gets to play here for free. So I have to come back and make a shape move. So even though I had 3 stones that were really weak, during the game, I thought this was okay. Now he has 6 stones that are really weak. That doesn't seem like a big deal. But 6 stones are a lot stronger than 3 stones just because they have a lot more liberties. So yeah, that's a thing. And at this point, he played this move to try to just solve everything, right? Save these stones, help this group, connect to everybody. And maybe that was a bad idea, but it's certainly reasonable at the time. I still have actually a little bit of a cut problem down here. You know, there's actually, let's play out some variations here. First of all, there's this cut, right, which is kind of an issue. There is this cut, which is also an issue. So I'm being very, very careful, and I'm also sort of reading out and banking on the idea that this group has enough room to live or create ice space down here. So at this point, you know, the idea is, well, I don't know what to do here. I have problems. Let's just go play a really big move. Probably not the best idea. But it also has the nice effect of both attacking these 2 stones. If these 2 stones die, that's a lot of points lost, as well as attacking the corner. So it felt like even though like this is sort of like the hot area of the board, right? This is the part of the board that the entire game is about this Black group. You know, this stone does a lot of stuff too. So I was happy to play it. Black just comes through here, just lives in the corner with the maximum number of points. The problem is this does basically mean White keeps Sente. So even though Black makes a lot of points locally, I'm not sure it was the best result globally. Especially because at this point, I should probably just play here and just take my profit. And the reason why I didn't is I feel like actually in my count, I don't think I had enough points yet. The corner loss was too big. And the fact that Black also just took points here was probably putting it over the edge. And again, at this point, I remembered, oh yeah, right, the game is about this group. So I sort of tanuki'd away for, you know, 1 Sente over here, and then went, oh yeah, this is, oh sorry, I made one exchange. I made one exchange up here. And then it came back and remembered, oh yeah, the game is about this group. It's kind of fun, the psychology that you experience during a game of Go, where you like forget what you were doing and then get distracted and come back. I don't know. Playing Go, sometimes I feel like I'm like a butterfly just floating around. Like, oh yeah, this is good. I should go do that. After this, you know, this Black group's in trouble a little bit, so Black just asks, hey, can I just make a base really easily? And I say no. And then Black gets distracted, right? He's got problems too, right? He doesn't really want to lose these 2 stones. He definitely doesn't want to lose these 6, especially since I forced him to connect it. And he definitely doesn't want to lose this whole group. So how can he fix all of them at once? I don't know, but he's going to do it from the outside, just trying to lean on this stone. I was willing to sacrifice this stone if I got everything in the middle, of course. So I took the outside. I didn't try to run out with this stone immediately. But he played an interesting move. He played here, to which I thought I had a pretty good response here. And so even though Black at this point could just connect and take everything on the outside, I would be able to live under here and undercut his points a little bit. I still don't really know why he didn't do that. Maybe he just felt like it didn't end in Sente, or I don't know, maybe he felt like he lost too many points down here or something. But I think his variation wasn't very good. Again, he just played the outside, and I just basically connected this up. Or actually, maybe this is probably his real reason was he just wanted Sente because he thought it was time to expose this cut, which would settle his whole black group. So maybe it was just like, I just want Sente. I just want Sente. And so he got it to come back and play this one. All right, so I read this out for a while. And there is some Aji here. There's a push and a cut, and there are some things. This stone, even though it sort of disconnects it from my corner, it still totally allows enough space for white to live here. So I didn't really have any fear when I connected. And black realizes the same thing and says, oh yeah, I need to actually prevent you from just living. So I play here, and then I play here. And at this point, I think I should have played here immediately. I left that later as like a co-threat, but I should have just played it immediately, I think. I don't know. It's always hard to say, the timing of these things that are good co-threats later, But it's also a really big move if black can play this later, too. Like, that might be a big enough endgame move where I just want it right now. Because it's big for both sides. All right, and now, after, I've proven that I'm all connected here. Basically, black didn't gain anything. Black says, oh, okay, well, hey, maybe I can just go live in the corner, and then my problems with this whole group are completely solved, and then we can go right to endgame, or try to rescue this group if he doesn't want to go to endgame. And at this point, I'm not sure why I played this. I felt maybe, oh no, I remember now. I did play this. This was a tournament game a couple days ago, so forgive me if I'm a little bit foggy in some parts. I'm still eyeing, this push and cut and trying to capture like the whole middle. And so I thought this move was actually a good way to at least capture something while also attacking another part of it. But I thought black's response was really nice here, right? And just not, I've already proven that I'm alive here. There's no reason to care about these two stones. So not a great move on my part. And this move, I sort of read this out as this move basically kills this, right? There's no way to actually save all these stones now. But at the same time, I felt like, black could get a lot of free moves over here and either make points or attack this. So you're going to see me play another slow move later. Black actually takes time to connect now, right? Again, I'm not sure why. I guess it's worth points, and also makes some eye shape too, so it keeps black safer. So this move is also really slow. Like I know the idea is to keep black unsettled, but I just don't gain enough over here, right? Again, I've already killed this, so it just means I can kill it and not get pushed around quite as much. But black thinks that's the perfect time to actually play a legitimately fast move, not a slow move. And this move is huge, right, in terms of endgame. I mean, this just makes this thing just nothing in terms of points. So was this move worth this move? No. Should I have played this move and just made a tiger's mouth and made points? Probably. But, there's a big but here. This move does keep the pressure on the black weak group. Even though it has some eye space now, it's still not 100% alive. So I respond here and here, and now finally I decide I'm finally going to use this Aji somehow. In this case, I'm just going to take some points, force these connections, and connect. And so now you can actually see that black doesn't have a guaranteed 2 eyes yet. He has to do something. Of course, just playing here in the corner is probably the best thing to do. But he doesn't want to give up anything else in the middle, because I could actually cut this off the middle and maybe make some points of my own. I still think he should have taken the corner. I think that would have been more difficult for me. So we play this out, and then he comes back to take this. So now I'm looking at a one-eyed black group that isn't completely alive, and I thought I could lean on this harder. Because now, after I play this sequence, right, this basically turns this into a half-eye. It's a gote eye. If black really needs that as an eye later, I can just play there. And voila. Not a real eye. So, he has to play this shape. Oops, I didn't play that. And I respond here and here. And again, you can see I've gained, again, this was already dead. So I've gained at most 6 points, at most. So a small gain. I come back to play this. And at this point, even though I'm in Byoyomi time already, but I am using Peter's clock to do a lot of counting, and I'm still behind on the board again because I played this last slow move over here. This move was too big. I'm still down by my counts are varying between like 2.5 to 4.5 points. I'm down by after Komi, that is. So when he plays this and he threatens to start this humongous ko, I'm like, hell yeah! And again, I'm in Byoyomi, so I have like 30 seconds to make up my mind. Here's my opportunity to make back 3 points. Of course, this is a terrible idea because this ko is huge for black. If black wins this, I mean, it's game over, right? How do you this? I lose another 20 plus points, and I'm only, it was dumb. It was dumb, right? I'm only trying to take an extra maybe 7, maybe. I'm not entitled to. I guess actually more than that, because if I win the ko, I'll capture that. So we'll say 10. So I'm trying to win 10 at the expense of giving black over 20. But if you're down by 3.5, I don't know. I don't feel completely unjustified in doing it. But yeah, now, once I actually start the ko, I actually look at the ko threat situation, which I should have done much earlier, and quickly realize that white has nowhere near enough ko threats, and I resign right here. So how many slow moves was that? Was that 4 slow moves? I feel like it was about 4. But yeah, I was just in a slow move mood. Just, feeling turtle power. And I don't know, I just liked slow moves during this game for some reason. They appealed to me, and they really shouldn't have. So here's my goal to you, and all of you, my challenge, is that whenever you play a slow move, I think they're addictive, I guess is my point. Like they're like you play one slow move and you're like, I can play another slow move. So if you play that first slow move and you catch yourself and you just feel like you just played a slow move, just slap yourself, just, oh, that hurt. But just do that, wake yourself up. That kind of hurt. So yeah, no more slow moves, okay? All of you. I played a lot of them. I wonder if that's going to leave a mark. I don't think so, but... all right. So no more slow moves. That's the moral of the story. I hope you learned something. Now, if we count, should we count just how many slow moves? Technically, we might even be able to count this as a slow move, right? This is a slow shape here. So we'll give that a half credit for a slow move. This was definitely a slow move. That was like biggest slow move ever in existence. So that's 1.5. This, I can't say that's a slow move. That's a fighting move. This is not a slow move. This is actually very necessary to the health of this whole thing. That's not a slow move. Yes, this starts second out really slow. And not a slow move, not a slow move, not a slow move. But we're coming up with a really big slow move. This one, that's a super duper slow move. So that's 2.5. Yeah, maybe this, well, no, I don't know. I need someone stronger to tell me if my idea was good or not. I thought it was genius at the time, though. I thought this was brilliant. Like, don't play this, play this. Super brilliant. Have to play that, not a slow move. I guess this is almost like another half slow move where black doesn't really have to respond yet, but I did, so we'll count it. Can't say that's a slow move because it worked so well in the end, but there's one more really fat, big, juicy one. This one's really slow. So I'll say that's 3.5. That one, even though it looks slow, I feel like it actually is good because it kills the group. That one's like 4.5. Yeah. Yeah. The connection, yeah, I'm sure, I mean, the connection's big too, but Yeah, connection's fine. I mean, reduced it. All right, so we'll say it's about 4.5 slow moves. Although you could argue that I should have just connected here earlier, not run this thing out first. We'll give myself 4.5 slow moves on that one. So I'm pretty sad. Again, just slap yourself. That's all I gotta say. Just, you play a slow move, just slap yourself. See you next time. Hopefully your faces won't be too sore.